today I was going to cover the blue-red deck from the 2021 Arena Starter Kit. You have Cyclone Summoner. It's a 7/7 creature, a giant wizard for 5 and 2 islands, and this happens to be the foil or hollow card for the deck. When Cyclone Summoner enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, return all permanents to their owner's hand except for giants, wizards, and lands. So basically, you're gonna have a lot of your stuff still on the battlefield, and your opponents potentially just gonna have their lands on the battlefield and have to, play some of their permanents again and potentially discard some cards. So, yes, it's 7. Yes, it actually has to get cast without being countered, but, it seems pretty strong if it does hit the field. Mind Flayer. It's a 3/3 creature, a horror for 3 and 2 islands. Dominate monster. When Mind Flayer enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature for as long as you control Mind Flayer. Arnie Broken Bow, or Broken Bro. It's a 3/3 legendary creature, a human berserker for 2 and a mound. Has haste, boast, pay 1. You may change Arnie Broken Bro's base power to 1 plus the greatest power among other creatures you control until end of turn. Activate this ability only if this creature attacked this turn and only once each turn. So that's kind of interesting. You'd be changing your power of this guy after you attacked, unless you have a way of, untapping him and attacking again. Calamity Bearer. It's a 3/4 creature, a giant berserker for 2 and 2 mounds. If a giant source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. So, damage multiplier, that's kind of nice, given it's only to a specific kind of creature dealing damage. Archmage Emeritus. It's a 2/2 creature, a human wizard for 2 and 2 islands. Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. Which obviously card draw is nice. If your hand's getting empty, you just play or copy a spell, instant sorcery, and you start drawing some cards. Card advantage can sometimes make or break the game once you get mid to late game. Vortex Runner. It's a 2/3 creature, a human wizard for 2 and an island. As long as you control 8 or more lands, Vortex Runner gets +1/+0 and can't be blocked. To make it a 3/3 instead of a 2/3 and make it unblockable seems a little underwhelming to have 8 lands out on the battlefield. I know blue-green has a lot of stuff for getting lands out, but I don't know if just blue alone does offhand or not. So to potentially be stuck 6 or 8 turns before this guy gets better. I mean, yes, it costs 3, but that seems kind of like a meh card for. There's 2 copies of that in this deck. Frost Trickster. It's a 2/2 creature, a bird wizard for 2 and an island. Has flying. When Frost Trickster enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So, a 2/2 flyer that you're tapping an opponent's creature, that's pretty decent for 3. Maybe not, the most overpowered for 3, but it's definitely worth its value. And there happens to be 4 copies of that in this deck. Field Research. It's a sorcery for 2 and an island, and it has a kicker cost of 2 and an island. You may pay an additional 2 and an island as you cast this spell. So, draw 2 cards. If the spell was kicked, draw 3 cards instead. So, it's 2 and an island to draw 2 cards, 4 and 2 islands to draw 3 cards instead of 2. You have 2 copies of that. Wormhole Serpent. It's a 3/5 creature, a serpent for 4 and an island. You can pay 3 and an island. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. And there's 2 copies of this. Teeter Peak Ambusher. It's a 1/3 creature, a goblin warrior for 1 and a mountain. You can pay 2 and a mountain. Teeter Peak Ambusher gets +2/+0 until end of turn. And there's 4 copies. Axguard Cavalry. Well, I pronounce it guard, but there's no U in it. It's just GARD. It's a 2/2 creature, a dwarf berserker for 1 and a mountain. You can tap it. Target creature gains haste until end of turn, which, depending on what creature, that may or may not be helpful, giving it haste. 4 copies of this guy. Run Amok. It's an instant for 1 and a mountain. Target attacking creature gets +3/+3 in trample until end of turn, which with some of the low to mid power guys, that's definitely going to be helpful because your opponent might block thinking they can kill one of your guys, and oh hey, I'm gonna pump my guy, and if it's bigger, it has trample and gonna do a little bit of damage to the opponent. There's 4 copies of that. Red Dragon, which kind of seems to me like they got we weren't very creative. Oh, let's make a dragon. It's in red. We'll call it Red Dragon. It doesn't seem overly creative with the name, but with how many dragons there are, I guess it's sometimes hard coming up with original names. 4/4 creature, a dragon for 4 and 2 mountains. Has flying. Surprise, surprise, it's a dragon that has flying. Fire Breath. When Red Dragon enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to each opponent. So, obviously pretty nice because, you not only get a 4/4 flyer, but you're dealing damage to your opponent as this guy enters. You have 3 copies of him. Thundering Rebuke. It's a sorcery for 1 and a mound. Thundering Rebuke deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. It's nice that you can target planeswalker with this. Not all like direct damage while you do that. The kind of downside is it's a sorcery, but sometimes there's a little bit of a trade-off for stuff like that. You have 3 copies of this. You have Evolving Wilds. It's a land that you can tap, sacrifice Evolving Wild, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. I have always been kind of vocal about how I'm not big on, lands that let you fetch other lands, because you could just put that land in the deck, in that card slot. But it also lets you thin your deck, so you're potentially not drawing a land for one particular card draw because you already removed, this land and the land it's searching for. So situationally, could go either way. 4 copies of Evolving Wilds. And then we got to the basic lands. There's 11 islands, which there's, it looks like there's 3 different arts, because each set has several different arts for each land type. And there's 12 mounds, and again there's 3 different art types for the mounds. So hopefully you found some value, you found this blue-red 2021 Arena Starter Kit deck somewhat interesting. Please consider checking out some of my other content to see if you'd like to subscribe, and keep watching for some more Magic related content. I also do some video game related content too. Thanks, and have a good day.